Hello, it's a beautiful day, and you are here with your number one craft coach in Ghana, Ijoma Duru, the CEO of Nabella Couture. Today, I'll be showing you on how I made this beautiful showstopper wedding fascinator using crinoline. This is one design that is in trending. So let's get to class to get started. So the first material you need for this class is your crinoline. Crinoline comes in different sizes, but for this course, we'll be using the big crinoline and we're going to be pressing it this way. Can you see? You stretch and you press. This method gives us the firmness of our crinoline. It kind of doubles the strength of the crinoline. Can you see how we are pressing it just at the middle there to give us the size? So you could press to the size you want, whatever size you want your crinoline to be. But for me, I'll be pressing it to be just like half of the initial size. So you get it pressed to the end. For this material, I used 5 yards and I pressed all. Can you see how it has reduced in size? This was the original length, original width, and now you can see it's like half of the initial width. So for the main base, I'll be cutting out 40 inches. This is the main roundness of the heart or fascinator, whichever you call it. The crinoline fascinator, crinoline heart. Yeah, okay, so let's term it crinoline fascinator, crinoline veil heart, whichever. So we'll be having 40 inches. Next, we'll be taking our crinoline and we'll be pleating it this way. Can you see how we pleat? The tips will be pleated this way. You make sure you have a nice fine tips. You'll be having that way. Make sure it's nice, it's firm and well pleated to have a nice tip. That's very important. We'll be taking our fishing line, needle and thread. You see, we have our needle and our fishing line. I'll be using 0.40 mm of the fishing line and I'll be sewing that end. Watch how I sew it carefully. I'll be sewing that end. Make it firm. Just watch how I sew it. You make sure it's tight and firm. You double up your knots. Next, we'll be using wire. This is the kind of wire I use for this project. It's the white wire. So when you go to the market, I'll be sharing vendors list. Need a plier and we'll be cutting out the length which we want. This wire is not that hard, it's not that soft, it's just in between. And we'll be taking our measurements. For the wire, I'll be cutting out 48 inches. 48 inches of the wire. For this wire, it's always advisable you cut over. Not exactly the size of our crinoline. Remember, our crinoline was 40 inches. So you have to cut over and we'll be cutting that in 2 places. So now we are going to use it to pipe our crinoline. We'll be using the wire to pipe our crinoline. You just have to be patient with the wire, the fishing line. Most times it tangles and it's quite frustrating. So it's advisable you just cut the lengths you could manage. Don't make your fishing line too long, so you could manage it, and watch carefully. Carefully watch how I stitch this wire to the crinoline. This kind of stitch is called the blanket stitch. We're going to be using the blanket stitch method to attach our wire to the edge of the crinoline. It's called the blanket stitch. While you stitch your knots, that's why it's called the blanket stitch. Watch carefully how I got this achieved. You just have to be very patient with your fishing line. It tends to knot itself there, but just have to be patient while you work. Watch again how I got it done. I mentioned earlier the name of this stitch is called the blanket stitch. And you continue that process till you get to the end of your wire. And you see, when I got to the end of my wire, I did the same thing. I knotted, like the excess, you could cut the wire excess later. You could cut the excess of the wire later. So you see how the edges was, just the way we started with the folding. I also did that edge the same thing. So we are going to put another wire at the other end. It's just a repetition of the same process we did with the first one. Using the blanket stitches, you use your fishing line also. You get it tied up there and you repeat the same process. So if you noticed, the edges are both folded, or will I say pleated, to form a tip. So you repeat the same process like the initial one, using the blanket stitches to the end. So you can see we have both sides piped with our wire, and we are having excesses. Yes, we have excess of our wire. It's better you have excess than you have less. When you have less, it's very stressful because of the blanket stitch which you've done. So it's better your wire is more, then you just have to cut it. For this project, I used the scientific wire for my tying. This scientific wire is 0.6 mm. That was what I used in tying them up together. This gave it a firmness. If you say you should use the fishing line or the cotton thread, I doubt it's gonna give you the kind of firmness I achieved on the final results. So I used the wire to bind it very well and tight. You could also use the fan wire or the fan coil. Any ship wire will work. So it's not compulsory you go for the original scientific wire. Just anything like a binding wire too could also work. You just need a binding wire or any wire that is very flexible and can give you the firmness you desire. So can you see what was achieved so far? Next, we'll be making the bow. For the bow, my first measurement, I took 25 inches, or you could make it 23, depends on the size of the bow you want. For this, we use 23 inches. 23 inches of our bow, and we'll be cutting it in 2 places. We'll be having it cut in 2 places because our bow was 2 places. And for the wire, we'll be taking our measurement for the wire. Remember, our bow was 23 inches. And for the wire, we'll be having it cut at 25 inches. Like I mentioned, you always try to make sure your wire is much more longer than the crinoline. So just like we did with the first round base, we'll also be pleating this to have a nice tip, and piping also with our crinoline. So piping also with our wire, pardon me. So now we have it this way. Can you see we had 2 of it piped, and looking for at the center, you fold it this way to form your bow. Can you see it? You fold the tips, you join it together, and we'll use our wire to bind it up. Can you see how it is? Always make sure you fold or you bind it together before applying what I'll show you very soon. I won't mention it yet. So you just follow these procedures, and trust me, you are out for a very beautiful and fascinating headpiece. So we'll be using our wire again to bind up. We're tying it together. We're tying it together. Definitely we have excess of our wires. That's no problem. That's no problem at all. We'll be cutting out the excesses in due time. So you see how nice our bow is looking. Can you see how nice our bow looks? And now next we'll be having, I don't know what to call this one, but it's part of the bow. Let me say the tail of the bow. Okay, let me say the tail of the bow. And for this, we'll be measuring 10 inches. For the tail of the bow, we'll be measuring 10 inches. And for this, we won't be piping the wire 2 sides, no. For this, we'll have 2 of the tail of the bows made. We'll pleat the edge that way. For this, we'll be measuring the wire exactly 10 inches. The crinoline was 10, the wire will be 10. Reason why is because we won't be binding this together, so we don't really need much of an allowance. Repeat the same process. You pleat there using your fishing line, you pipe the tips using the wire, and for this you'll be piping just one side only. You're not going to pipe the 2 sides, just one side only is what you're going to pipe. Just one side only is what you're going to pipe. Avoid piping that part, just one side is what we need. So you just have it done that way. And can you see what we've achieved? It was piped just one part, and we'll be using our UHU glue to secure the tip for this one, because we are not joining it to anything like making like a bow. No, we'll be using our UHU glue to make the tip in place. You could also bend it if you so desire. Next, we'll be using our cutting bias. We have two sizes of cutting bias, so whichever you want to use. For this, I'll be using the 1-inch cutting bias. The 1-inch cutting bias is what I'll be using. I'll be using to pipe the tips. I'll be using to pipe the tips off the crinoline. Now, this is the intricate part because it requires care. Maximum care. We'll be using our UHU glue. You could also use E6000, the one with the little mouths. I haven't tried that before, but I believe it could also work. It will work, not even it will work. But what I had handy, which every milliner always have also, is the UHU glue. You could also use the E6000 because the E6000 helps control the flow of the glue, so that could also be useful, and it also gives a fast fixing. So whichever you use, it's okay. For the UHU glue, when it gets stains, we always have a hack, like say a millinery hack, which you could use to take off your excess glues, but it doesn't give you the right to start smearing your glue all around your work. No, when you're done with your work, that is also a hack we use in millinery. We use methylated spirits. We use spirit or hand sanitizer, but spirit is nice because with the spirit it's not sticky, it's light. You use the spirit to clean off your excess glue. See all those excess glues you see in there? Later I'll be using the spirit to clean it off, and it gives you a nice finishing. These are one of the hacks we use in millinery. So when you're piping, make sure the both edges are equal. You give a nice piping. We've done with one part of the piping, and we'll be doing the same thing to the other parts. You see, we have our wires excess, so we have to trim it off. So let's measure 2 inches of our remnants. We have 2 inches, and we're going to be cutting it off. Ensure you have remnants because that is exactly where you will be placing your clip we'll be using in fascinating into the hair. Also know that this course is a product of Nabella Couture, and by no means should you sell this course for your personal gain. Do not share to friends or family. Kindly report anybody you see in this act sharing this video or selling it out of Nabella Couture. Kindly report such individual, and the person will be surely dealt with by the law, because this brand is registered and we have rights over our products. We also have other online courses available for sale, so kindly check back on available courses offered at Nabella Couture.
I don't know where we're gonna fly like you did sometimes. Seeing eyes of mine. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll try to fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll change it, change it. Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert, I can look at you with love. Seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow? Grow the hanging gardens of Babylon. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but we'll change it, change it. I would like to tell you mine and my streets. I would like to go with you into the street. Please don't deny your love makes me feel alive. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll try to change it. I wanna be loved by you. Loved by you.
For this tip, we'll wrap carefully. And I use the super glue for this particular place because I want maximum neatness at that tip and also firmness to the wire, the excess wire there. So that's why I use the super glue over there. I want maximum firmness there. I don't want it pulling off because there's no much support over there.
Change it, change it. Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert, I can look at you with love. Seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow?
We have a pair of the bow tail. Yeah, that's what we called it. We have a pair, that is 2 of it, of the bow tail. And next, now we all have our wax done neatly, properly. That's the bow and that's the main. So it's divided into 3 parts. The main round parts, we have the bow, and also we have the bow tail. So it's divided into 3 parts. This headpiece is divided into 3 parts. Now we're going to couple off everything. It's the coupling that is very important also in this course. So watch carefully how we get it coupled. Definitely we'll be using our wire also to do the coupling for firmness. Trust me, this fascinator is firm. Only if you can lay your hands on this, which I made. It's so firm. It's not flexible like dancing up and down. No, it's so firm. So now we'll be using our wire. We'll go step by step. We'll start with one bow to one bow tail. Yeah, one bow to one bow tail. And we're going to get it coupled.
Loved by you. Seeing eyes of mine. What do you feel beside? I don't know where we're gonna fly like you did sometimes. Seeing eyes of mine. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll try to fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll change it, change it. Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert, I can look at you with love. Seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow? Grow the hanging gardens of Babylon. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but we'll change it, change it. I would like to tell you mine and my streets. I would like to go with you into the street. Please don't deny your love makes me feel alive. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll try and to change it. I wanna be loved by you. Loved by you. Loved by you.
Next, we're going to be fixing it now to the main body of our work. Watch carefully, please. Watch carefully. You want it positioned properly. You see, both hands should meet. Both ends should meet. I'm going to take it down there. Yeah. And I'm going to bind it again. So you don't necessarily need to use the expensive scientific wire. No, you could get a cheap one in the market. I think those ones they sell for 80. All this should be in your billing. You get it? Make sure you bill well. Bill for quality. Bill for uniqueness. Okay? Don't try to use to cut corners, and at the end of the day your work is not nice or not firm or not durable. Nabella Couture is known for durable products. That's why you get a lot of referrals coming in from us, because People say, hey, should they charge? Oh, yes, I charge for quality. I charge for uniqueness. You get it. Your brand should be known for uniqueness. Your brand should be known for quality. Don't settle for less. Okay? Handcraft isn't cheap. Handcraft isn't cheap. So you make sure you get that correctly. Let your clients know that what you're giving them is crafted by hands. It takes a lot of time, a lot of pains, a lot of energy to get it done. So this is what we've done so far. We've had it coupled, and we're going to still use our super glue to fix that permanently in there. You see, the super glue has this kind of bond. You just be careful with it, because sometimes when it gets to your skin, it burns your skin. So you just have to be very careful when using the super glue in working. So you have it fixed there, and it gives you this firmness you desire in your headpiece. So next, I'll be using my cotton bias again to wrap up the mess. To wrap up the wire, we'll be using it for a finishing. You finish your products nicely. You could decide to use sequin bias, any kind of, it's not necessarily it has to be cotton bias. You could also use satin ribbon. Yes, I think this, yes, satin ribbon. You could also use that. You just have to be creative, whatever your clients want. Even at the tips, you could decide to even put African prints at the tips. Just be creative, be wild. You don't really need to follow step by step like the materials used. You could flex your style. You could even at the end of the day add feathers to it. Just be creative, be you, be passionate about it. This is just a stepping stone to give you the right measurements to use. So as you wrap there, you also, you stretch it so that it fixes very firmly to the work. You see, I'm exerting some kind of pressure to it, making sure it's tight. It's tight, and oh, I'm just so much in love with this piece already. I wish I can get a party just this weekend to go rock this headpiece and be a showstopper. In fact, when you just step into the event, everybody will just have to stop and turn their heads and start looking at you and like, wow, this lady has arrived. That is just what this headpiece is. There is nobody that won't turn their back to look at you when you wear this headpiece to an event. So we have our work ready. Next we'll be using the clip. This is the secret behind this thing hanging. Do not use comb. Do not use comb. Do not use what else will I say? This is called the alligator clip. The big size alligator clip. It might not be this exactly, but ask your millinery vendor, you're looking for an alligator clip. This is very firm. So I'll be sharing you the vendor where I got this particular one for you to purchase. So this is just how we're going to fix this. Watch carefully how I got this fixed up at this point. It's very important in this course because this is exactly after making all this, after going all the stress, and at the end of the day, it can't hang on your head. Can you imagine? So that is why you have to watch carefully this particular part where I got this achieved by adding the clip. So watch how it's been done.
Inside of me, in this desert, I can look at you with love, seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow? Grow the hanging gardens of Babylon. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but we'll change it, change it. I would like to tell you mine and my street. I would like to go with you into the street. Please don't deny your love makes me feel alive. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing
So now I'm tying it up firmly. You tie it tight. It's still moving. It's still shaky. You see, we are not done yet with it. So watch what I'm going to do next. After using the bias to tie, I just cut off the excess. I'm going to sew that part using my fishing line and needle. I'm going to do some sewing. So kindly watch care. In fact, shine your eye. I'm using 0.40 mm. So shine your eye very well to see how that place was tacked. I tacked the alligator clip to the base again, even after tying with my bias, just to have that proximity of tightness in it.
what you feel beside. I don't know where we're gonna fly like you did sometimes. Seeing eyes of mine. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll try to fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll change it, change it. Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me. In this desert, I can look at you with love, seeing all that I can learn. Can you stay and I will grow? Grow the hanging gardens of Babylon. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, 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 but I'll fix it, fix it. Love, 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 I wanna be strong, strong, strong. We're doing wrong, Don't know where we're gonna fly like you did sometimes.
Now I have it tight and firm, so you could decide to put a finishing at the back, but the finishing to it's your own choice. I'll be leaving that up to you, what you want to put at the back. So that's your assignment. Yeah, so whatever you want to put at the back, you just put it. Make sure it doesn't affect its opening and closing, like it doesn't affect you using your clip. Whatever you want to put at the back, it doesn't affect you using your clip. So you just put it. You could also decide to put more crinolines there. You just make a bow there, but I beg you, it shouldn't affect your clients being able to open up a clip, whatever you're putting at the back. So we have our work finally ready. Can you see it? This is our work piece. Can you see how beautiful and clean it's made? So for this design, you are only permitted to wear it on a weave-in. You get it? On a weave-in or a braid, not on a low cut or your natural hair. You can wear it on a braid, on a rasta, and the weave-in. If you're having a wig, the wig has to have some porous in the net, like the net type, not the smooth type. I'm going to show you that very soon. Okay, it should have a place to wig it up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pack our hair this way. You get it? Get your hair packed up. See how packed the hair is. The next we'll be putting is the next thing to do. See her fascinator there, and you clip it. That is why we have our clip there. You clip it, and guys, it's already standing up already. Then you position it to just where you want it to be. Position it to where you want it to be. You can take it sideways. Make sure it's hooked there, and see there's a space over there. It's not dropping down. No, see, even if it drops down, it bounces back to its original state. Can you see? Can you see how it is? I didn't put any finishing at the back. Later I'm going to look for something to put just how I want it to be. And can you see how beautiful it's made and balanced? It's so balanced. Can you see? Let me walk around. Let you see how balanced it is. Can you see how balanced? So this is how beautiful you can have your fascinator. So we're the party day today. Yeah, so it's party time, okay? So let's go party, rocking your fascinator, stepping into the event, looking fly, yeah, making heads turn, yeah. Looking at you, oh my god, this is so beautiful, and definitely it's only from your number one craft coach, Nabella Couture, to the world. Nabella Couture to Ghana. Yes, only Nabella Couture, your number one craft coach in Ghana. That is what we have. Yes, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining in this course. And never forget, we always bring you the trending design online. Thanks for watching. See you.